5 times the Kardashians were exposed by their staff. Welcome back to Binge Worthy Network. From Kylie Cosmetics employees to nannies and babysitters, here are the 5 times the Kardashians were exposed by their staff. But before we jump in, hit that like and subscribe button to be notified and updated on the latest Kardashian drama and news. Being some of the most recognizable and famous faces in the world comes with its price. From having almost zero privacy to being constantly judged and criticized, the Kardashian-Jenner sisters have heard it all. But while the sisters are no strangers to hate from online trolls, the famous siblings and the Keeping Up with the Kardashian stars have also been called out by their former staff. Here are just some of the times the Hollywood stars were exposed by their former employees for their behavior and their actions. Kylie Jenner's employees. It's no secret that Kylie Cosmetics is one of the most successful and wealthiest makeup companies in the world. In 2018, Kylie Jenner became an official billionaire thanks to her passion project. And ever since then, Stormi's mum has been on the rise. But did you know, back in 2016, numerous employees came forward to expose the KUWTK star. Numerous former employees and workers went on Indeed.com to expose the toxic work environment the billionaire had created in the Spatz Laboratories lab. From mean and ruthless superior managers to unsafe working conditions. Here are just some of the things the employees had to say about Kylie Cosmetics and the Spatz Laboratory. The work was fast-paced, product had to be packaged, and quotas had to be made. Some of the managers were persecuting towards other employees, making it uncomfortable to work there. It was hard to interact with fellow employees as everyone worked individually. Expectations were unrealistic for new hires. If you did not meet the standards, you were fired. The workloads were intense, so the most enjoyable part of working there was the breaks. Early morning shifts, long hours, reading and following instructions on measuring and mixing products for makeup was only provided with a lab coat, hairnet, and safety glasses. No benefits. The turnover rate was high. I love that I could see how makeup was made from start to finish, but the downfall is that the makeup particles made me cough. Terrible management. The most enjoyable part was leaving work. They would talk about Kylie Jenner in a bad manner, kind of rude since she's the reason we were there. Every morning, I would be responsible for the tasks I was given for the day. I had to make sure that I had everything I needed for the day as well. At times, the tasks that needed to be done had to be done with minimal time. Management seemed to not have things prepared beforehand, and for the position I was in, time was everything. Most of the tasks would take a full shift to be done to a few days, so it would be unreasonable to be told the task had to be done in about 2 hours, which would add stress, especially since it felt as if they were up to your necks about it every hour. Kourtney's nannies. From the youngest Kardashian-Jenner sister to the oldest. Now let's take a look at Kourtney Kardashian's scandals. When it comes to the oldest member of the family, Kourt is known to be the parent that spoils her children the most. Over the years, fans and viewers of Keeping Up with the Kardashians have witnessed the mother of 3 allow her children to behave in questionable ways. And in 2019, the Poosh director was finally called out by her past nanny for her actions. It was later revealed that the employee left the Kardashian-Disick household because Penelope had scratched her face. But instead of scolding her daughter for misbehaving, Kourtney just let the whole situation slide as if nothing happened. This event, of course, did not go unnoticed in the public, and Kourtney was heavily criticized for not disciplining her children and raising them to be ungrateful brats. Even the Kardashian-Jenner clan couldn't help but comment on how Kourtney's kids are too spoiled for their own good. During an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the Hollywood family discussed the incident by saying, "I don't have a nanny anymore. She said P was really upset. She was putting her in the car and she scratched her in the face, but P can be out of control. I think she almost blacks out and does these wild things." To this, Kris Jenner had to say, "I have 6 kids. Not once in my entire life did anyone have a complaint like this. We need to take care of this before it gets too far out of control." Kim's nanny. Speaking of Kourtney Kardashian and nannies, there is another incident when the mother of 3 has been called out for her behavior towards babysitters and nannies. And it includes Kim's private nanny. In the recent and the last season of KUWTK, fans and viewers all across the globe witnessed how Kim went after her sister Kourtney once more. According to Kim, her nanny was feeling ashamed and degraded by the way Kourtney had talked to her and yelled at her. To which the older Kardashian sister simply replied with, "She's lying." In the recent Keeping Up with the Kardashians clip, Kim states how her nanny felt so degraded by you and you just started yelling at her and you said, "Keep your voice down." It should have been in private. She said she wished you would have tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Hey, something's really bothering me. Can I talk to you?" And you could have talked in private. As mentioned by Kim, her nanny would much rather prefer if Kourtney had settled the issue behind the scenes, without the kids and the people around watching and hearing the conversation. But, as it was later stated by Kourtney, she never once raised her voice at Kim's nanny. Kourt said, "There's not even 1% that I yelled. She was the one who raised her voice. Yeah, if you think she works for you, that's totally fine. She would never work for me with the way she acts. That's totally your choice. Keep her. She will not ever be around my kids." Kim ended the conversation by saying how she prefers to keep her staff long-term as opposed to her sister Kourt, who can't keep a nanny. And this is how Kourt responded to Kim's diss. "Kim, shut the F up, honestly. The way you're talking is wild." Kris Jenner's babysitter. It's not only the Kardashian-Jenner sisters who are being called out left and right for their behavior towards their staff and employees, because the momager, Kris Jenner, is also guilty of some eyebrow-raising allegations. Pam Behan was only 19 years old when she started working for the late Robert Kardashian and Kris Jenner. A few years in the Hollywood family, the part-time nanny began seeing major red flags and warning signs. And after decades of staying quiet, Pam decided to spill it all. Behan began by exposing Kris Jenner's tough personality and her shocking demands. "I liked Kris, and I respected her for many reasons. She was not easy to work for because she was a perfectionist and she expected perfection. At first, I used to be just crushed when she would speak to me like that, but she vents, she speaks what's on her mind. She wasn't easy to work for, but I did enjoy my job." Who knew Kris Jenner was also involved in heavy drama back in the day? Kim's labor laws. And last but not least, let's talk about the most shocking allegation to come forward against the Kardashian-Jenner sisters. Just recently, it was exposed that the billionaire and the KKW Beauty founder Kim Kardashian had been found guilty of violating labor laws. And here's the story of how Kanye West's ex-wife has been called out by her previous staff and employees. On the 25th of May, a lawsuit was filed in the Los Angeles County Superior Court by Kim's former employees. The 7 former workers accused Kardashian of violating California labor laws. The lawsuit and the complaints were exposed by the Los Angeles Times. The online publication states the names of the 7 former employees as well as sharing the exact reasons for filing the legal lawsuit. The LA Times posted on their website, Andrew Ramirez, his brother Christopher Ramirez, and son Andrew Ramirez Jr., Aaron Cabrera, Renee Ernesto Flores, Jesse Fernandez, and Robert Araiza, who worked on the property as gardeners and maintenance staff, claimed Kardashian withheld taxes from their wages without furnishing these amounts to the government. They also alleged Kardashian did not pay for overtime, did not allow meal and rest breaks, and required a 16-year-old on the crew to surpass the 48 weekly working hours allowed for one his age. One plaintiff claims when he raised some of these issues, he was fired. As you see, violating labor laws is a serious offense, which is why Kim's team decided to fire back with a statement of their own. A spokesperson for the KKW Beauty founder shared to Page 6, "These workers were hired and paid through a third-party vendor hired by Kim to provide ongoing services. Kim is not party to the agreement made between the vendor and their workers. Therefore, she is not responsible for how the vendor manages their business and the agreements they have made directly with their staff. Kim has never not paid a vendor for their services and hopes that the issue between these workers and the vendor who hired them can be amicably resolved soon." Another close friend of the mother of 4 went on to share to Page 6, "She does not have a history of not paying her bills on time, never has and never will. She takes a lot of pride in paying people on time for their work, so this issue has nothing to do with her and these workers are suing the wrong person." The lawyer for their employees was very careful not to include Kim's name in his statement or directly mention any claims against her because he knows these employees never worked directly for Kim, only through a third-party vendor. And just like that, Kim Kardashian was exposed for seemingly violating labor laws and not paying her employees what they're worth. But what do you think? Were you shocked by some of these allegations against the KUWTK stars? Do you believe the former employees? Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and give us a like. And don't forget to turn on your post notifications and share this video with your friends. Goodbye, everyone.